everything was going good. And 2 days before Christmas, the cops came round and knocked on the door, and they had a search warrant and come in, and Tracey was asleep in bed, and they were like, you're going to have to get her up. And I'm like, well, she's really sick, you know, she's got MS, and they're like, you're going to have to get her up. And that was embarrassing because they're all males, 4 males, you know, and Tracey's, you know.
All I hear is, are you decent?
Oh, so when she first wakes up, okay, she's been in a nappy, or she calls it a pull-up, all night long. Yeah. She's got no bladder control, so it's always soaking and stinking, and she needs to be changed straight away. She also wakes up dehydrated because she's been urinating all night, and she needs her medication. She wakes up and she's like this, like every morning. This is how she wakes up, like this, every morning. And this cop says, we want you out the back now. And I says, look, I've just got to look after Tracey. And he says, we want you out the back now. And I thought, well, just whoop out and see what they want, explain the situation, come back in. So I go out the back, and all 4 cops are out there, and the big guy in charge of the whole bus, he's like, oh yeah, right, we've got some questions for you. Why do all these plants look different? And I'm like, look mate, I've got to go and look after my partner right now. She's really sick, and she needs her pills, and she needs her medication. I mean, she needs her pills, she needs a coffee, she needs to be changed. I'm happy to answer any questions you like, and you can go anywhere you want, you know, no trouble from me. Just let me look after my partner, then I'll do anything you want. And he's like, you're going nowhere. Now, why is that plant purple? Not joking. I'm not joking, okay? And I'm like, I'm going to help my partner. And I started walking off. And he's like, where do you think you're going? And it's like, and next minute, 4 cops surrounding me. I got this cop in my face like this. And he's like, are we going to have trouble from you, lad? And I'm like, I just want to go and tend to my partner. Then I'll come back. And he's like, you'll answer our questions first. And then this cop's like, right, as I was saying, why have you got so many different plants? And I was furious because I knew that Tracey was inside in a stinking wet pad, and like, this went on for a little bit. In the end I just started walking away again, and they were like in my face again, and I was like, look, I'm going to look after my partner, you know, I've just got to, and I just gave them the speech again. You can do what you like, I'll answer any questions you like, blah, 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 blah. And they still weren't going to let me go, and I says, look, I'll come down the station and do a video for you if you want. And this cop's like, oh, so you're volunteering to do a video, are you? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I've always done one every time I've been busted. I just assumed I'd have to do one anyway, you know.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, that's a different story. If you're going to come down the station and do a video, well, okay, and you can go and see your partner. Yeah, he was a hanging judge. I couldn't understand his attitude. He just was... it's probably the harshest I've ever been treated in terms of just straight out the way he spoke and his indifference and lack of empathy and compassion, because what really got to me was he wasn't even going to give me bail.
Yeah, right, like, then and there he wanted to send you away.
Yeah, and these
Quentin had to argue hard.
These Tracey sitting there shaking like crazy.
And as he was saying, you could see Tracey getting more emotional.
Agitated, yeah. And like, if he had sent me away, there wasn't even anyone there to take her home or do anything. Like, there was nothing for her at all, nothing. She would have just been left sitting there in a wheelchair with nothing. No one. She'd have to try and somehow work out how to get home and how to get the van home and how to and like you said, my lawyer actually had to get up and really argue a passionate appeal with the judge. We're talking about a few dope plants in a garden. Let's just get perspective here. We are talking about a few dope plants in the garden, in the veggie garden. That's all we're talking about. A victimless crime. No one was hurt. No one else was involved. There was no dealing or anything. And yet they want to kill They want to kill my partner, you know. She has to sell everything here. You can't take any of this stuff to a rest home. She has to sell everything she owns. We waited 2 years to get this house. We didn't always live here. I've been here 4 years, but we had to wait 2 years to get a house with wheelchair access and everything. And it's the only wheelchair access house Tracey's ever had. She loses this. She loses all her belongings, and she'll tell you herself, I motivate her every day. That's what I do, you know. They aren't going to do what I do for her. They're not going to care less.
They just want to get their check.
She's just going to be one more person amongst a whole lot of old people. I get up every day and try and cheer her up and motivate her and get her interested in life. And
I mean, they're not going to be there to hold me or cuddle me at night, you know, show me any true affection, nothing like that. And I mean, Peter's my best friend, and to lose him will be unbearable. And I've lost a lot of weight. I'm really basically a skeleton with skin already. If he goes away, that may get a lot worse, I don't know. And if it does, I'm not going to live.
I've given up my life for the last 4 years to do nothing but care for the woman I love, and I would never have done this to her intentionally. I honestly didn't think any cop would have done what they did, you know? I thought at the very most they would come, if they came around and someone complained I was growing cannabis, they'd come around and tell me to pull it out, you know? I thought that's the very most that they would do.
Right. And so at what point did you actually decide to go on the hunger strike?
Yeah.
Obviously after the whole court proceedings.
I think on the way home I was already so angry.
Yeah.
Like when the judge treated Tracey the way he did, I think that's when I snapped.
Yeah.
And I was just brewing inside all the way home. And yeah, because I've rolled over for gangsters, I've rolled over for cops, I've had my best friends, I've lost everything I own, you know, my house, my belongings. Twice I've lost my belongings. 3 vehicles I've had stolen. And the only person that's ever got busted is me. None of those people have ever been arrested. None of them have ever been charged with theft, home invasion, assault, you know, you name it. No person has ever been charged except for me. I've just been busted and threatened, and I've had several genuine attempts to kill me, you know. And I've just rolled over for all of it. I've never made a fuss before. The only thing I've ever done is write letters to the government saying, I want to research medical marijuana legally. Please let me do it, you know?
Yeah.
I've never gone on and on about all these things that have happened to me before.
Right.
I've just taken it on the chin. But I thought, man, stand up and be a man, you know? Grow some balls, Peter. You know, what's wrong with you? Grow some balls and stand up for yourself. And I thought, yeah. And you know, I've felt a lot better in myself ever since I did this. And then the thing is, after that, is once I went public, I've been swamped with phone calls and emails from all over the country from other people. I thought it was just me and Tracey on our own fighting this one little thing, and I've been just swamped with just people with similar horror stories all over the country. And that's why I hung my hat like I have on the medical marijuana cause. It was about Tracey. That was originally what it was about. And I thought, no, hold on a minute. All these other people, they just sort of, by default, I became their champion. They were like, you stood up.
Yeah,
and
that's what they like to see.
And suddenly I thought, well, hold on, this is a much bigger issue.